Hey, everybody. I was just telling Brad, this is the most excited I've been to record a podcast in a long time. We just have so much to tell you about the Bachelor party. But first, tonight is the last night of Rachel and I's premarital counseling. The topic is intimacy.
Intimacy.
Yeah. And
Keyword in. And Timacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timacy.
So we're like reading a book, like we're first or second Timacy. You said we're in Timacy.
Go and open your Bibles. This is intimacy. And then
Timacy, the Tool Man Taylor. Yeah.
Anyway, I guess just
Intimacy.
on the note of just not knowing or just being an idiot, I think tonight we're getting split up, guys and girls, and I would love to, like, as soon as it gets split up, to be like, hey, we just be honest with me. What happened?
How do you?
I never
Where
saw,
do you?
like, I never got to talk growing up, but like I've watched nature documentaries.
Okay.
So I know I've seen the monkeys wrestle.
Yeah.
I've seen the birds dance.
But I haven't seen the monkeys wrestle the birds.
But I know that there's a thing. I know birds and bees is a thing.
Birds and
Am
the
I
bees.
the bird?
Who's got what if I'm more like a woodpecker and less like a hummingbird? Right?
Rachel just walked in right when Brad said it. So I know the bee has to pollinate the flower, but like you don't need a bee costume.
Like what if it's like allergy time? Like what if it's springtime, right? Like
Our honeymoon's in June.
what if the wind is blowing a little? Pollen's everywhere, right?
She's allergic to honey. Is that okay?
Okay?
If I'm a bee, is that fine?
Hand in the honey pot? What does that mean? I don't know.
That's probably good.
I think this tight beat means that it's going down with some random thoughts and white meat too. Midwest best friends eating fast food on repeat. So come along, let's have some fun and go ahead, get on your feet, cause it's the Ghostrunners podcast. Every Monday morning we're taking ground. Ghostrunners podcast.
Okay, well, that is all of the intimacy part of the podcast. Let's get into it, Brad.
Let's get into
Get into the episode and the weekend. It was so fun. I just got off the phone with Harrison, who it's been a couple days. It's Wednesday when we're recording this.
Yep.
And I call Harrison. He was like, wanted to chat with me about something. And when I answered the phone, he goes, dude, I am still buzzing. And
right?
I was like, dude, me too. He's like, it's so hard to focus at work. I can't do anything. Like, he's like, all I want to do is I want to be back there with you guys.
You know, it's a good trip when you're buzzing after. The anticipation leading up to it. Of course, you're having a hard time working, but then you're thinking about it after. That's next level.
Harrison goes, he's like, I knew it would be fun, but I had no idea. Just like, it was just so like special. He was like, there's all the guys there. He's like, your uncle. He's like, I would go back right now, just one-on-one, just me and your uncle. He's like, I don't even care what we do. I'll let him set the schedule. I will do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, you want to do yard work? You got something going on Saturday? That's great. I'll come help you with your yard work.
Yeah,
Uncle John. It really was like a special time though, because I think that every single part of the entire trip, everyone had a good attitude, and that is unbelievable. Like, I can't think of a certain time where it was like, this is awkward, or this is, I guess there was one time I yelled at Gunnar during dodgeball, but it was like joking yelling. It wasn't like serious. That was about it. Like, that was the only time I could think of where anybody was even somewhat like hostile at all.
No, yeah, everyone was just amazing.
Everyone wanted to have fun the entire time.
I think the only time I even felt somewhat like not amazing was just the first night, because I'd only slept about an hour and a half the night before.
Yeah.
Set a new record. F12, my watch said I stood 22 hours. This day, I stood 23.
How?
Because
20? But you flew in an airplane.
That was the only time I didn't stand, was the 5 a.m. hour.
Wow.
It was the only time I wasn't standing.
Oh, I see. Not 23 hours, like part of at least one of each hour.
Yeah, the Apple Watch does it a bit wonky.
I thought you literally were standing for a cumulative 23 hours in a day, and I was like, I don't think that's. I know that your Apple Watch says it, but it's like one of those things where it's like you walk 10,000 steps. I bet you walk more like 8,800. Like I don't think you were standing for 23 hours.
The first week I had an Apple Watch, I thought that's how it was. I was like, dang, I've been standing a lot.
Wow, I am very good at this.
But it's just like part of like every hour. But that was the thing. I feel like very commonly in week to week, day to day, I'll get notifications. You haven't been standing at this hour. Please stand up. Never got that notification. We were up and at 'em constantly all weekend. Yeah, that first night was just really just exhausting.
You could tell like the guy. So you guys, you all stayed over at Scott's house the night before.
Slumby.
No one. It sounds like no one got more than 2 hours of sleep.
No, it was just fun.
Yeah, and then you guys played golf that. So I saw you guys later that night, and you could tell you guys were having fun that night, but it was like you guys were zombies.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So let's just go through the bachelor party from start to finish
chronologically.
Yeah, I think basically everyone kind of gets there at some point on Thursday.
Let's just say first and foremost, Kansas City's new airport is a vibe.
Zoppity.
It is awesome.
So fun. I mean, I'm already gearing up for the weekend of my life, and then it starts with this new airport. I even texted Brad. I was like, dude, you're in for a treat. This is so fun.
It was so fun. My airport experience was with Gunnar and Garrett. They were my airport buddies, and I learned that Garrett had never gotten to a flight less than 2 hours early before.
Real dad energy.
And so we like coordinated like, hey, let's all park at Scott's house. Garrett's wife was going to drive us to the airport. We park at Scott's house, and he picks us up like an hour and 5 minutes before the flight. And Peyton's like, yeah, Garrett's freaking out right now because he's never done this before. And I was like, Garrett, we're going to get through security in 8 minutes, and we're going to be there. It's going to be fine. And I think we've like turned a leaf for him. So I think he's now like, okay, I don't have to get there so early.
He's seen the light.
Yeah.
That's good. And anyway, everyone got to Arizona pretty easily, except for Braden. We can talk about that later. Oh. Poor Braden. Actually, we'll say it right now. His flight got delayed.
The future brother-in-law of Jake.
Yes.
Caitlin's
fiance. His flight got delayed like an unbelievable 7.5 hours or something. Like we just kept getting updates from my dad. Like Braden's flight delayed another hour. He was supposed to originally fly at 7:30 and didn't even take off to 2:30
in the morning.
Yeah, in the morning.
Yeah,
brutal.
Yeah, he didn't get into 4:30 Arizona time or something like that.
So that was too bad. But for the most part, everyone got in easy, and basically it was kind of revealed to me this whole weekend is going to be one long competition. We're in teams. We all had color-coded hats.
And they probably were just plain hats, didn't say anything on it, right?
That's the thing. They were themed. They all said desert domination on it.
They were the most like a 50-year-old designed these hats ever. They were great, but they were the font was definitely one of the 12 preset fonts that you could use at this hat website.
Yeah.
And they were awesome.
Trucker style.
Trucker style, yeah. We were Blaze Orange. My team was Blaze Orange.
Blaze Orange.
Yep.
I was Team Red.
Team Red.
And yeah, it was just awesome. So we got split up into teams, and the first night, all we did was, I think, just play pool.
Yep.
Was the first night.
Yep.
But it was pretty electric, just because everyone is kind of gathered around. Everyone's watching it happen. And
I might argue it was the most electric.
It kind of was.
Of all the competitions, as crazy as that sounds. I remember thinking I stink at pool. This isn't going to be that good. But luckily, a lot of us stunk at pool.
We were all pretty bad.
And so that made it way more electric, because then it was okay, they got an easy shot to win this game, 8-ball corner pocket, and they would miss
They'd miss it.
And everyone would go nuts.
Anybody's game.
And then the other guy would have a chance to, have a tap in, and they would miss it, and everyone would freak out. And then, of course, Jake, they're sleep deprived. And so it's just everything's funnier. We're all slap happy. For whatever reason, I started doing this little toot noise with my mouth. I was this is going to be annoying after 4 times. And people laughed. And so I kept doing it probably 100 times throughout the night. I would just, as people were about to swing, I just go, and it was just different every time. And I think a few, it was Scott and Luke that really loved it, and Gunnar. And so those guys kept me going with it.
They were your audience. It was just fun though, because even just so Tim, Rachel's brother, just is kind of just thrown into this friend group. Also kind of a quieter guy, but he even came alive at pool. he almost like missed the cue ball one time and like I think the championship game, and everyone's like, "Oh, Tim's got the yips," you know. But then the very next time he went up, he sunk one, and then he's yelling back, "Who's got the yips now? Who's got the yips now?" It was just fun. Like everyone was it was just a brotherhood from like start to finish. Everyone just got along so well. Everyone was so just easy. And so pool was night one.
I did a no look shot for pool.
I forgot.
You remember that?
That was awesome. That was against us.
Yeah, that was the first. That was my only game I played because I ended up losing that game. It was a really easy. Like the ball was basically right next to the pocket, and Jake's dad says something like, "Oh, he's gonna miss this. He's gonna blow this." And as I'm like lining up, he says that. So I just look at him and I go,
"What was that, Steve?" Bang.
And then I hear everyone go nuts. I didn't know if they went nuts because I missed it. Like everyone started laughing. I didn't know if that was because I missed it or I made it. And luckily I made it. And then the very next shot, I think, was the 8-ball.
That you accidentally made?
That I scratched in the wrong pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, we lost to Jake. So.
Honestly.
Electric.
Pool ended up being really hilarious and really fun.
Really fun.
And then from there it was announced like, all right, next morning, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., I forget what it was.
7:45 is when we left.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it was early.
First thing in the morning, we're playing dodgeball, which I hadn't played dodgeball since like high school PE. And I was telling Rachel, I was like, dodgeball might have been one of the most fun things. Because
also electric.
The games went really quick and you could just see everything that happened really easily. Yeah. It was just like...
Your dad obviously was in charge of the whole thing. Your dad rented out the perfect spot for it.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was like a half court of a gym, it was like this small little gym, and it might have even been like a small half court. Like it was like the perfect size for 4-on-4 dodgeball.
And it was just great, just nice cinder block walls.
Yeah, there were walls on both sides.
So if you missed the other person, it would just come right back to you. So that was the key, is like dodge it, but also block it going back to them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did our team win? No, I think your team won. Our teams were neck and neck.
Yeah,
for almost every.
Red and Blaze Orange came first and second in a lot of competitions.
I'm trying to think of specific funny things that happened.
I mean, we have a video which maybe we can show it right now. I'll send it to you, Timon. But my Uncle John thought he found a loophole in dodgeball.
Did you get it on video?
We have a video of it.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So pretty commonly in dodgeball, it's like, all right, everyone run to the center, grab your ball, and then go back a certain distance, whatever the lines are, or touch the back wall.
Right.
And I guess John didn't hear that. Never heard of that before. He's like, why don't I, as soon as I grab the ball, I just hit him right away.
All these other guys are taking their balls back like idiots.
I'll just hit him. And so one of the first games of the day, John just grabs it and just smokes Harrison in the eye from 2 feet away. And for like 30 minutes, it looked like Harrison had pink eye. It was just like red and like weird and crusty. Yeah. John felt awful.
Oh, I think Harrison said he had a detached retina, is what he told John. And John believed him. Like, that's how hard he hit him. I didn't see it happen. I just saw Harrison be like, "Did you see that guy? He just threw it at my face." He couldn't believe it.
Funny. I think a lot of the hilarity came from the old guys, which just is a reminder. So all of us, there were 12 of us millennials on 3 different teams. Mm-hmm. And there was my dad, Steve Coop, my Uncle John, and then my dad's best friend from high school, Paul.
Yeah.
Who were a team the whole time, the old guys. And they were so fun to watch in dodgeball because they were the underdogs every time. Even if they had a slight advantage, even if it was just one-on-one, it was like, oh, they could win it.
Right.
And then, you couldn't even get done applauding for them, and they would just get smoked in the neck, or something.
Yeah, it was something. They tried so hard though. They played. Yeah. They did everything. Like, they were trying in every single sport. It wasn't like, we're the old guys, so we're just gonna lose. Let's just go out there and have some fun. It's like, no, they were trying to win.
Yeah, they're late 50s, early 60s. It was impressive how well they could compete at certain times.
I think. Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? They were trying hard. Dang it!
I'll talk and maybe it'll come to you.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just so fun. Especially when you see Harrison, who pitched in college, throwing a dodgeball at Steve Coop, who's trying to do a spin move away from it.
Oh,
it was awesome.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like, Harrison was an absolute. Yeah, he was the reason we did as well as we did.
He was scary.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. So we played. I think initially we played the dodgeball tournament, and it was just like, hey, this team plays this team. Like, it's round robin, 1 game each, sudden death, and I think we all performed pretty well in that. I think our teams both, well, your team beat my team maybe. I don't know. But then that went so fast. Like, some of these games were genuinely 30 to 45 seconds. Most of them were probably 2 minutes or less. And so we're like, well, we need to play more of this. So let's do a best of 3 thing. And so our team was me, Scott, Harrison, and Tommy, who's Rachel's older brother. Really good, solid team. I heard those teams. I was like, we're going to win it all. That's a really great team. We have different, strengths. And so, Harrison, pitcher in high school or college, just mowed people down. Scott did great. Tommy did great. I played.
I just remembered something.
What?
When you called decoy?
Decoy! Yeah, Tommy let me have to dry.
Brad didn't announce it to his team. It wasn't like
I think it was like 3-on-1 or something.
Just in the middle of a game, Brad goes, decoy!
That's announcing it to me. Tom, if you hear decoy, and you see somebody run up to the line, what do you think they're doing?
And everyone just kind of watches Brad run to the center and get whaled with balls. And everyone's like, what in the world? He's like, I yell decoy.
Because if someone's throwing a ball, they're no longer able to defend themselves. And so I was like, I'll take one for the team.
It just happened so fast. It was a good plan. It just happened way too fast.
I got smacked. And I look back at Tommy and I'm like, what are you doing? Throw it.
That was the hardest I laughed that entire day.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Rogue decoy.
So anyway, we had won all our games up to that point, except for against Jake one time. And we played the old men and they beat us one game. They beat us the very first game.
That was awesome.
And I looked back at my team. I said, we are going to mow them down and we were going to win in 18 seconds or less.
I heard the tail end of this pep talk. It was really good.
I did some kind of like...
Brad goes, I'm setting my watch timer when he says go to 18 seconds.
Yeah.
If we haven't won by then, you know.
I think we won in 24 seconds.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
It was just like, I think I literally yelled, kill him on there.
It was kill him. Beaches of Normandy type massacre.
Yeah, it was like, we're not, because those old men, they were feeling good about themselves. They finally won one.
Oh, it was funny. Guys. I think we also have a video we could put up on the screen now of Paul Shira. The very first game of the day, he went to grab a ball and fell down. And it was also just pretty hilarious.
I mean, we're getting old enough now to where we're not very good at sports, and so just the older you get, the less coordinated. I mean, we had a good fall in pickleball.
Oh my gosh, my Uncle John, which he had just got out there, and he has to play Scott. I mean, my uncle has never played on a regulation-sized court before. It's only been in the driveway or in like a weird gym, and is doing like somewhat well against Scott. Like Scott is just slamming balls, and he's running left and returning and running right and returning him. He goes back left, somehow trips, stumbles, and just like pinky goes down, dislocates that, but then his body goes flying and he just rails a trash can. And it was an awesome sound.
It was hollow. So it was like, boom.
Everyone saw it. Other courts stopped what they were doing to see what happened. Oh, it was so funny.
It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I think that guy's gonna fall. Oh no, he's not. No. He's got it. And it's like, no, he hasn't regained his composure yet. And then he does eventually fall. And he was genuinely hurt. Like, he dislocated his finger or something.
Yeah, and it was bleeding. He tried to get back out there, but blood was getting everywhere. And then he cleaned it up. So,
but dodgeball was awesome. I don't know. I mean, it was a bold move to start with dodgeball. I'll say that much, Steve Triplett. Like it messed up our bodies more than any other thing the rest of the week.
So sore the rest of the weekend.
Because we were playing with the real, like, legit dodgeballs, not like the foamy, like...
Make the sound when it hits skin.
I don't know. Pull.
Yeah, it's a little tinny.
Pull.
Bing. Pull. It hurts.
Yeah. And they were big boys, so... Yeah, I was throwing underhand most of the day. I'm like, I'm not going to throw up my arm for this.
There was something else that got started during dodgeball. So if you guys remember, what's so cool about this whole friend group and our collective story is that Brad and Scott played for my uncle's team back in the day. And I used to sub for Scott because he is LDS and didn't play on Sunday. So I would drive up to Kansas City. It's so cool how it all works together. Brad and Scott have not seen Uncle John since he was their coach.
Right.
And so Brad started calling him coach at the beginning of the...
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to need to call him John.
And so when Brad would be maybe on the sidelines and my uncle's playing, he'd be like, come on, coach.
You got this, coach.
You got this, coach.
You can do it, coach.
And it was so funny. But I mean, probably 24 hours later, it didn't take long where everyone just called him coach.
Everyone called him coach.
No one called him John.
Yeah.
And people didn't even know his relation to me.
Right. To the extent, I was going to say, on our way home, so Gunnar, Garrett, and I all flew back together as well. Garrett's wife picks us up. We're rehashing the whole weekend with her. And Garrett's like, or Gunner, I think. Honestly, one of the best parts of the weekend was Coach. I mean, that guy was amazing, had so much of a different dynamic. And Garrett goes, yeah, and I mean, I don't even really know how that guy knows Jake. And I'm like, what? That's his uncle. He had no idea. He didn't think to ask anybody about it.
It's funny that he never thought, I never just asked anyone besides
Coach?
me. Like, hey, who is this guy?
Maybe he just assumed, like, Paul and Steve were just best friends. Maybe Coach was another best friend.
I guess he's Jake's coach.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
You got this, Coach.
Come on, Coach.
Come on. And if you played a good play, that's my coach.
Yay, Coach.
I knew you could do it, Coach.
Just like you taught me, Coach.
Well, the funny thing is that, like, I mean, I liked John Fine as a coach. Scott, I don't think loved him as a coach because I don't think John loved Scott as a player very much. He was this little scrawny kid, couldn't throw more than 40 miles an hour, and so he always got put at second base, always got the bunt signal, and so that was my motivation a few times. I was like, hey, he gave you the bunt signal 9 out of 10 times. You need to mow this guy down.
Go get him.
Yeah, go get him. So anyway, finally got his vengeance, whatever it is, 20 some years later.
So yeah, dodgeball was so fun. I was on a team full of studs. I don't even think I did anything all dodgeball. I just watched.
Oh, please. You did.
I don't think I did much at all.
You did.
There were a couple times where I got down to just me and maybe I would catch one and then, okay, Isaac, you're back in. Go do it. Yeah. Okay, Isaac, you get him.
Because it was you, Isaac, Tim, younger brother of Rachel, and
Garrett Gibson.
Oh, yeah, it's a studly team.
Yeah, it's pretty well-rounded athletes.
Stacked team.
So straight from dodgeball, right outside of this community center, they had a sand volleyball court, so we played volleyball.
Fun.
Which was fun.
I was not necessarily looking forward to that one. I had a lot more fun than I thought I would.
Yeah, it's always still fun. And
it
was kind of in the middle of the day. I don't think we were necessarily trying to play a ton of volleyball, but we played a little round robin.
Beautiful, beautiful weather.
It was great. And
I was never hot the entire weekend.
Even when I was like warm or maybe getting sunburned, I was never that sweaty. Never that hot.
I think I was hot sometimes like physically because I was running, but it was not because of the weather. Does that make sense?
Dude, speaking of hot, did we ever get to the bottom of your sunburn? How did it get that way?
Oh,
Brad had a reverse farmer's tan. I've never seen anything like it. Like his neck was white.
Yeah, it was weird.
Where a shirt would be was red. It was very interesting.
It was like, I think it was, so the first day after volleyball, everyone's tired. Everyone's like, let's take a little break after dodgeball, volleyball. And so we went home and we went swimming. And so
Airbnb was awesome, by the way.
Airbnb was
basketball
vibes.
court, putting green, pickleball court.
Oh,
hot tub pool,
beautiful hot tub,
cabana,
pool. Great banana,
water slide,
outdoor kitchen.
Yeah,
a lot like this
water
place
feature.
We're going to in Florida.
Yeah,
water feature. Roof that almost was able to be accessible by Gunner. Gunner tried to get up on the roof, but he was nervous that the shingles were gonna fall off. But we were there, and I was listening to Braden, Caitlin's fiance, tell story after story of his experience as the basketball manager for University of Kansas, who's my favorite team. And so he had all these great stories of like
during the
players,
Joel Embiid, Wiggins era.
telling me about the players, telling me about Coach Self, like all this stuff. I was intrigued, and I knew I was like, I'm probably getting some sun, but I'm okay.
I don't want to miss a story.
I was like, genuinely, I don't want to even interrupt this vibe. Like, I don't want to be like, hey, let's move it over to the couch over at the Bana, because just in case, like, sometimes you do that. And it's not the same. Yeah. And so I just kept listening, and I was like, I'm getting a little pink right now, I bet, but it's not that big of a deal. But I think the sun was shining this way, but I had a shadow on my face, is my guess. And so I think that there's a shadow like on my neck. And so my neck was fine, but the rest of my stomach was nice and burned.
I thought for some reason you only put sunscreen on your neck.
I don't think I had put on any sunscreen that entire day. No.
There was a point in the weekend where I think I saw Luke or Scott or someone just staring and laughing. I was like, what are you laughing about? And like, I'm just looking at Brad's sunburn.
Yeah, I took off my shirt to go out of the pool one time, and they started laughing. I was like, thanks a lot, jerks. They're like, it's your sunburn. It's your sunburn. Yeah. So anyway, I got nice, weird sunburn there. I think I even called it. I was like, somebody's going to get sunburned the first day. It was me.
Yeah.
And didn't even feel it. So be careful out there, guys. The sun is real.
Arizona's hot. Something else, we need to backtrack a little bit. Something else, maybe one of the funniest things that happened all weekend. That first morning is, first of all, it's this pretty decent sized Airbnb, but there's still not enough beds for everyone necessarily. My dad gave me the master bedroom, which was awesome. I felt a little bit guilty about it, but I was also like, well, I mean,
there were like guys like sleeping on the floor of the movie theater, and there's Jake just
I was like,
chilling his ivory castle over there.
This makes up for all the times where I would book stuff and end up sleeping on the ground, I guess. But yeah, like Tim and Tommy slept in the movie theater room when they said it was funny to hear him talk about it. Like, I tried row A, wasn't that comfy. Row C is actually really nice.
That's where the airflow is a little bit better back there.
Get a little hum from the road. But Isaac and Brad shared a bed together. Trinidad vibes, like the good old days.
Yep.
And I guess maybe you should tell the story from your perspective that first morning.
I think it's... Are you? Oh my gosh! Oh, I was thinking the synchronized thing. That's the next day.
Yeah.
You got two good stories
every morning.
So Isaac and I slept terrible all week. Isaac was very convinced that this bed was a double bed. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, it's a queen. I'm just a big boy. He's like, I have a queen at home and I have way more space. I was like, I understand how it works. You just don't have as much room because I'm with you in this thing. But the first night, we were trying to figure out who's sleeping where. And honestly, I was a little bit worried I was going to have to sleep with like Braden or something. I was like, I'm not comfortable with Braden. I don't want to, accidentally touch him in the middle of the night.
It wasn't a size thing. It was just like, hey.
No, it was just like...
We don't know each other that well.
It was just like, I want to make sure I'm with somebody I'm bros with. And so I was like, Isaac, you got any spots? He's like, I haven't picked one. I was like, there's one right there. It's a bed. It's free. Go. And I thought all of them were queen size beds. I think it was the only queen size bed in the entire house.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't really go down the hallway. I didn't really see what was out there.
I think they're all either king size or the old men all slept in bunk beds.
That was fun.
Which is also like, it's so funny. Like the oldest men, they didn't even have ladders on these bunk beds.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. John trying to tell me, he's like, every night I had to wake up and go to the bathroom. He's like, someone needs to film this.
He's like, it's a 10-minute ordeal getting up and down the house.
He's trying to shimmy down the bed, but without making too much noise. And
he said all four of them were snoring at different points and all this different stuff. But so I get up, like I said, I woke up that first day, didn't sleep great, but I woke up early and I was like, hey, like Peter needed to get picked up from the airport that morning. So I was like, I'll go get Peter. So I'm up, I would go to the bathroom.
So
and the bathroom's right across the hall from our room, and so I could still hear something in our room. And the air conditioner wasn't on; like it was dead quiet. And I just hear Isaac go, "Tiger, come here, Tiger, come here, Tiger, come here, Tiger, come here, Tiger." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, Isaac, is Isaac sleep talking to his dog? Come here, Tiger. Come here, Tiger. And I mean, it was like decently loud. Come here, Tiger. And then I finally, like, after him doing that probably 4 times, I finally hear his mom on the other like end of the phone. It sounded like he was FaceTiming, and his mom was, trying to get Isaac's dog. His mom was dog sitting for him, trying to get his dog inside. And she called him at 5:30, and apparently he woke up. And he's like, "Mom, it's 5 a.m. I got an hour of sleep last night, and then." This night I slept with Brad, sweating all over me probably. And she's like, I know, but you just need to call him. I gotta go somewhere. And so I just hear him, come here, Tiger. Come here, Tiger. And she's like, it's not working. Make some kissing noises. And so he's like, come here, Tiger. And of course it didn't work over FaceTime, but I think his mom was just desperate. And I was just like, what in the world is he doing over there?
Oh, it was so funny. There's the rest of the trip. I feel like I was always doing that. Hey, come here, Tiger. Come here, Tiger. Come here, Tiger.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, that was so funny. So that was part of the first morning. But anyway, that first day, we go back, we swim in, we're eating lunch, and then it was time to golf. Mm-hmm. And it was great. I hooked everyone up with some Bad Birdie polos, which was fun. Just kind of thank them for coming on the trip.
That was fun.
And so everyone's rocking them. And we go out we've got back-to-back tee times at this nice course. And Brad's team is first off the tee. And
let me say before you go into too much of the story. So I was our first team. And so I like checked in first. That's why we went first, because we were there a little bit earlier. And I went and got like a small bucket of range balls. Uh-huh. And just the night before we went on the trip, or maybe I guess it was 2 nights from this time of golfing, I swung at the range. I got a big bucket of balls, swung, was just striping them, painting them, doing great, to the point where I think I swung way too many without any gloves on, and I got blisties.
Got a few blisties.
I was the real life Andy Bernard, like, a few too many shots in, got a couple blisties. And so I already had one golf glove that I thought I forgot or lost, but Catherine found it. She was like, oh yeah, the glove's right there. I was like, thank you. And then I went and bought another one because I had it, which no one ever wears 2 gloves. So I go get this small bucket of balls in Arizona, go to hit some on the range. and I couldn't have been hitting them worse. And I was like, of course, when you're in front of your friends, you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I swear, because I think I even like had told you and Scott, like, dude, I was hitting them pretty well.
Pretty straight, yeah.
And I guarantee you, in my head, I was like, of course they don't believe me that I was hitting them well.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that they think that this is my version of well. And I promise, I had like 10 in a row that I was like hitting very, very well the other day. And so I was so frustrated. So anyway, I'm a little bit dejected and I'm like, this stinks. This is going to be the whole day. So then we go and we get ready to go actually golf.
And if you guys remember, the over-under that I set was for Brad to use 2.5 of his shots in 18 holes in a 4-man scramble. And so, yeah, we get up there, and Scott, of course, like, I have a video of all this, too, if we want to put it in, but, like, announces Brad next to the tee box, Brad Ellis. He gets up there with his 2 gloves. He's doing, Brad always pretends like he's, like, batting. He's, like, doing, like, a batting stance and everything. He goes and just pipes it so straight. Everyone nuts. Like, Scott was, like, mobbing Brad. It really was electric. It was so awesome. It went so straight.
Yeah, all 3 of the players on my team went before me, and luckily Scott had a really good shot, so that put a little bit of pressure off of me. But still, I was like, all these guys are like, I was genuinely worried I was going to either swing and miss or swing it and hit it like straight down, 60 feet down the fairway.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I guess just do it, dude. Like, you're 32, you're a dad of 3. Who cares what these guys think of you? And I just swung, and it went so straight and pretty far, and I felt great. It
was unbelievable.
It was electric. And Scott, I just hear like, oh, and I turned around. Scott's like jumping in my face, and then he just goes, "Let's golf, let's golf." And of course, it's a competition, so I feel good. I was like, I'm going to help my team here. And boy,
awesome.
Did I for a couple of holes, and then not so much after that.
Yeah, so in the first 4 holes, they used 2 of your shots.
2 of my shots.
And that's going around to the group text, like Big Daddy just hit his second shot for the game. We're using his shot on a par 3. He's like 8 feet long.
I had one shot that I thought, like, Harrison looked at me, he's like, that might have gone in the hole. Like, I chipped one, and I was like, it felt so good. And I was like, that was the kind of stuff I was telling you about at the golf range the other day. That was what I was hitting. And then I don't know if I messed up my knee. Also, I got tired. But the rest of the day, man, I used 2 of my shots in the first 4 holes, 0 shots in the last 12. Including the last couple holes, I literally was just like, I'm not even going to hit, guys. Go ahead. Putt. Genuinely, like, as I was getting out of the golf cart, like, it was like, I felt like an old man, like, being careful with my right knee and stuff. Yeah. So, anyway, but man, it was a blast of golf time.
Yeah, I thought that was so fun. Because I feel like that's how, like, gambling is sometimes. It's like, 2.5. Well, good thing I bet the over. He's already 2 in 4 holes. He did nothing the rest of the day. So
exactly.
Those who had the over, it did not hit. But I think everyone had fun. And I know my team, we'd been doing well in the other competitions. I think we came in first in dodgeball, first in volleyball. But I was like, golf is where we're going to lose some points. Like, I think no one on our team has golfed for more than 2 years. Other teams have multiple people who golfed in high school. So we're just shooting for third. We're just trying to beat the old guys. And we did the whole front 9. We're even par. We're in 3rd place. And then something happened on the back 9. And it was truly the most fun round of golf I've ever had. Because on one end, it was like, we're not really playing well, but like miraculous things are happening. It's like no one was on the green, and then Garrett scooted one up there somehow. And then all 3 of us missed a putt, and then like Tim sunk one from 30 feet. And then just all these crazy things were happening on the back 9. Yeah, we made so many long putts.
Yeah.
It's just the energy and the vibes were so high. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're not just going to come in third. Like, we might win this.
Yeah.
We were slowly mounting a comeback, but we were losing daylight. And so it's like, we could not come in second place just because we ran out of daylight. Like, we were going to finish this.
Yeah.
And it was starting to get real dark.
Like, so dark.
Darker than
like pitch black.
I've never played golf this dark.
I don't think they knew that we were out there, and if they did, I think they would have done something.
They would have been upset at us.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've made like 3 birdies in a row, and it's like, well, now it's hole 17. We got to finish this out. Hole 17, Garrett didn't even use a golf cart. We would hit, and he just took off running and was trying to like listen/look for the ball.
Track the ball.
He was just sprinting. It was so funny.
That's funny. You just hit one, you'd be like, left, and he'd start sprinting left.
Here, boy.
Yeah.
Here, Tiger.
Come on, Tiger. Come on, Tiger. Come here, Tiger.
Here, Garrett. And so the 17th hole, second to last hole, was like, it was getting pretty dark, but you at least have a little idea, like maybe the first 50 feet. Like, okay, I think it went a little left.
Yeah.
And so we were able to find our balls. We got on the green. It's so hard to read the green at noon. When it is dark out, you can't see anything. And we have a video of it because Luke came to join us. They were like, got to come in third. So he's like, we're just going to watch now. And Isaac drained this like super long putt. It broke like crazy in the dark. And now it's on hole 17. And all these sirens are going by. Like it looks like it's a celebration already. And we were going nuts. We mobbed him. And so then we're like, well, we got to play 18 now. And now it's getting so dark. And it's a par 5. So we got to hit extra shots. And so we all 4 hit it. And you can't even describe the elation of having no clue where your ball is, driving up to one and yelling like, Isaac, Titleist 4? Titleist 4! Oh my gosh, we found it. I mean, it could be truly anywhere. And you get to it and then you look up and you're like, I don't know where the green is. I don't know what direction the green is. And then you hit one and then you drive to the green and then you find your ball on the green. You're like, oh my gosh, we're on the green. And then we made a putt and it was just so fun. And it was just the time of my life. It was a great day of golf.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was, you said afterwards, you're like, that was the most fun time of golf I've ever done, which was awesome because I was like, it's the first like 6 holes I think we said took 2 hours.
It was so slow.
And so I was like, man, I bet I thought to myself, Jake's not going to have very much fun doing this. Like, this is going to be like putting a damper on it. But yeah, it felt like the back 9. I think maybe because it was getting so dark outside.
People were like, I got to go home.
I got to eat dinner here. Something similar happened to us on the last hole is that Scott and Harrison both like hit it and we're like, we have no idea where it went.
Yeah.
And then you just hear like Scott go, Harry, and then Harrison gets out of his golf cart and starts sprinting, and they both had hit it within like, I don't know, 10 feet of the hole, and they both just started like going crazy. It was a par 5, and they got an eagle, which means they got 2 under par.
We birdied the last one in the dark, and we're like, we might have won. And then we get to the parking lot, Scott's like, no, we eagled it. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
So anyway, golf was great, and then after golf, we went to
Chili's.
Yeah, we went somewhere else that was going to be like this very like local, like cool Mexican spot, and we get there and it is way too crowded and way too like, there was like no tables that had very many spots for us. And so in classic Jake fashion, he's like, well, there's a Chili's down the road. You want to go there? And everyone did. And Chili's rocks.
Good, dude.
Chili's is awesome. They have that 3 for me thing. It's like this, you can get an appetizer, a drink, and an entree. And my total with tip was $15. For plenty of food.
Pretty good.
I was like, this is wonderful. So that was a good time over at Chili's.
Yeah, Chili's was awesome. So that was, I think, pretty much the first day. What did we do that night?
Went to casino.
Oh, yeah. That was all back to back to back. We were like, we went straight from golf to Chili's to the casino.
It was a packed day.
All in the same,
all
the bad birdie gear.
Can you tell the story about Peter? Before, I think it was when we were driving to Chili's, Peter was asking about...
everyone, this friend group is just so fun. It's just, everyone's got their own quirks and everything. And we're in the minivan that Brad was driving around on the weekend, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, I wrote that down. We need to make a video because it came up in conversation so many times this weekend. Like Tommy, maybe Peter, other people who are like, I'm trying to get my wife on the minivan train, but she's not into it. I can't convince her. So I think that's probably happening a lot.
How to convince your wife that a minivan's the best thing, or what's the video?
Just any video of like trying to convince my wife, or, anyway, just a guy and a girl talking about minivans, husband and wife talking about minivans, something. I just think it's probably very relatable and happening a lot.
Every girl, no girl's like excited about getting their minivan at first.
Yeah.
But they all love them after they get absolutely.
So something needs to happen in the realm of like young couples in minivans. But Peter's just like.
We were driving to Chili's. We were driving to dinner.
Oh, yeah. And it's a late dinner. Yeah. Everyone's starving because we already went to a restaurant. We've been golfing in the sun all day.
It's probably 8:30.
Hey, Brad. I was thinking, whoa, look at that dog. I was
is this the kind of car
is this,
this is for future, this is just for future talk
later on, is this van, you think this van, and this would probably makes it sound like Peter's drunk. He's not drunk, he's nothing but water all day.
It's just how Peter talks.
Can this van do a little, I was like, Peter, you gotta ask a question. You gotta get it out.
It took him at least 20 seconds to ask anything.
Can this van get snacks? We're like, what do you mean snacks? He's like later on tonight.
You think after we go to the casino, this van could go and get some snacks?
We're like,
we're
on the way to dinner.
He's like a 9-year-old kid. Like, Do you think we could go get some snacks after dinner?
Like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know, like
some snacks.
gas station, or like Whataburger, In-N-Out.
Snacks.
Like right now? No, like
I was like, Peter, you're already planning on being hungry. Like we're going to a restaurant. That Peter, did you see what he ate? He ordered more than everybody. He ordered like the baby back ribs plus some burgers. I don't know what he had. Yeah, but he was just like, can we get some snacks?
And honestly, once he mentioned Whataburger, I did get pretty fired up for snacks.
I love calling Whataburger snacks.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to go get snacks more often together.
I like that verbiage. I like calling fun food like that snacks. And I like sometimes when like Weston Weeby used to do this. Sometimes Rachel does this. It's like, ooh, tomorrow's going to be nice outside. We should go play.
Oh, play.
Like the word play. But it just means like, just do something outside.
Yeah.
We should go play outside.
Just run around.
Run around and play.
That's fun. What was that?
Because I'm clinking around. It sounds like a real life version of Trash in the Camp in Tarzan.
Shee-bop, we do.
Wow.
All together. Shee-bop, be-doo. That was perfect. That was great, guys.
Thanks, Rachel, for the pots and pans noise.
Have a great week, guys.
All right, see you guys.
That's the end of the episode, right?
Oh.
Wow, that was electric.
Speaking of pots and pans, you could cook some Good Ranchers food in it if you want to. Yeah! That was like if Mario had Good Ranchers.
It's a me.
It's a go.
It's a what?
I don't even know what he says. You ever heard that? I think he's saying let's go. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. To goodranchers.com.
Yes.
Because you can, if you have a pan, you could thaw out your chicken in the pan.
Guys, Good Ranchers. Yeah,
Guys.
if you're listening to this on Monday, we're in Florida, enjoying some Good Ranchers as we speak because they are that awesome, sending us Good Ranchers on the trip. It's going to be amazing.
We're not actually in Florida yet on Monday, but you were so close, Brad.
Dang, you're right.
You guys get it though. Like this week, we will be enjoying Good Ranchers on the.
But
Florida
I ruined it for the ghosties that don't know. Dang it! Just know it's going to be awesome.
Earmuffs. Okay? No, it is great. I feel like people are starting to catch the wave on the Facebook group. People are talking, even in the group me from Florida.
Read some stuff about Good Ranchers. I'm going to pull up something that Lisa Gluck said.
Yeah, I feel like people are just starting to understand. Holy cow, this is good meat. And we were talking about it at the bachelor party. People were like, "Yeah, I've been needing to try that. I need some good meat."
Let me say something real quick about Good Meat bachelor party. Your dad made burgers and chicken at the last night. And the chicken tasted good, but the consistency of the chicken, once you're spoiled to Good Ranchers, I never would have thought twice about it until Good Ranchers.
Really?
And it was noticeably not as good. The taste was there. The texture, though, was not the same.
Interesting. Well, if you guys want to get some, go to goodranchers.com. You get free bacon in your first year. It's 240 pounds worth. You get 1.5 pounds of bacon in every box. And you get that with any subscription. So our code is GRKC for $20 off any box.
Yep. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Quick testimonial from our wonderful friend Lisa Gluck. My first bite of Good Ranchers was unreal. I didn't know chicken could taste that good.
How about that?
Unsolicited.
How about that?
How about that?
Code GRKC for $20 off your first box. See you, Rachel. Goodbye. See you later.
Cool.
She's leaving. She's going to go be a therapist.
I'm just buzzing about that Trash in the Camp thing that we just did. I hope everyone loved that as much as I did, especially at the end where we all sang it together.
It's a great song.
I'm going to be thinking about that. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight when I think about it.
Really? Was it that good?
It was just beautiful that we just did it out of nowhere, and we all like recognized.
I'm just so glad we all
the
knew the
percussionist. I'm the scat daddy. I'll carry the tune kind of thing. It was just wonderful.
It was my first time percussing pots and pans. Felt good.
Not the last time, brother. I'll tell you that.
We are not done.
Yeah.
We are not done doing that. That was good.
Okay, so where were we? Oh, and then so
goodranchers.com.
Yes, goodranchers.com.
American Meat Delivered.
GRKC. So yeah, Pete. We went to Chili's. Peter's talking about snacks. Peter didn't end up going to casino, so we did not get snacks with Peter after a casino.
That's right.
But I kid you not, we go to the casino, we sit down. I've been sitting down for 2 minutes. We're kind of joking around. There like a lot of us are sitting behind No, this is the night. This is the next night. Dang it.
Let's pretend it's his night. Tell the story.
Okay. And we haven't been sitting there very long at all. And this guy looks at me and he goes, "Sorry, man, you look a lot like that guy that does videos with Jake Triplett." And I'm like, "What did you say?" I was like, "Are you kidding? Like, are you planted here to say this?" And I was like, I am that guy." And I was like, "And that's Jake Triplett." He's like, "No way!"
Hey, man.
Oh, he was freaking out. It was awesome.
It was fun. Phoenix was great. I got recognized so much in Phoenix.
Did you?
Airport on the way there, airport on the way back. We all went to Crumble Cookie, and this was funny.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah, I don't think you were there, but this girl who'd kind of been looking over a lot anyway, and I was like, "It's probably the mustache." And no, but then she was like, "Hey, excuse me, this is weird, but you're that TikToker, right?" And then all my friends are like, "Oh, yes! Yes, he loves TikTok. Yes, he never shuts up about TikTok.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
so into it."
He is obsessed with TikTok.
Yeah, and so I was like, yep, that is not how I describe it, but that is what I do. And so, yeah, that was fun. And anyway, the people were great out there.
That's the funny thing is like when we're with our friends, they love us getting recognized more than we do.
Oh, they hype it up.
Like,
yeah.
so Gunner was trying to force it, fit in a square, whatever, round peg into a square hole, whatever. Like, I got off the airplane in Phoenix and he was already like a couple rows in front of us. And so I get off. He's like, "Dude, are you that guy from Cheat Shorts Comedy?" I'm like, stop, please stop.
That reminds me, on my flight back, I ran into Jim and Kim Dodd.
No way.
They were already seated, and I was almost past them, and like, "Hey, we know that guy." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And kind of like, grabbed him. I was like, "Hey, good to see you." And they're like, "Oh, we didn't think there'd be a celebrity on this plane."
It's like, oh, stop.
Like some head stirred. I'm like, "Oh gosh."
I will say it was really fun at the casino being recognized by that guy. So it's like we're playing blackjack. So there's like 6 of us in a table. One guy recognizes us. And so then there's 4 other people that are like,
"Well, what's that
Who
about?"
is this guy? And that's fun because they all think you're way bigger of a deal than you really are.
Yep.
They're like, "Who is this guy that we don't know? Is he like a big time movie star, like millionaire?" And we're like, "No, we're not at all." But it's fun because you can just feel them thinking like,
Dang.
Wait, who is this? Who is the guy?
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, I guess that first night at the casino wasn't too memorable, was it?
I don't think so. I think it was just fun. It was
It was
good.
a fun time. Yeah.
All right, second morning. What did we start with? That was the day we kind of slept
We
in a little
slept
bit.
in. I wrote down we slept in, and then the first activity was basketball.
Yeah, we did basketball and pickleball was that day, which is pretty fun. Tim became, I feel like, a star after basketball because a lot of the guys were like sports betting all weekend. So we throw on some NBA playoffs, and it started off watching a Warriors game. Steph Curry did a few things. I was like, "Wow, it looked like Tim out there." And then that like one little comment just led and just grew and grew to like where anytime anyone would make a 3, whoa, was that Tim Coop?
Whoa, yeah.
Tim was on the Kings. And then it got to the point where anyone would do anything.
Yeah.
Whoa, Tim Coop.
and then Gunnar would go, "Tim Curry."
Yeah.
Looked like Tim Curry out there. Yeah, Tim and Tim made the mistake of like being bothered by it at the beginning. And so that just, if you know our friend group, we're like, okay, we're going to lean into that way more.
Do it even more.
He's like, stop. And so he just kept being like, "Oh, there's Tim out there." Yeah, the basketball was fun. We played it at a park, and so it was nice and sunny out there. And yeah, the old guys once again looked old, but tried hard. Steve Coop, I tell you, he's got a motor on him.
He really does. In between games where we're all like tired, we're all sitting out.
Yeah.
Him and Garrett Gibson just played one-on-one.
Yeah, and that was his idea. Like Garrett said, he was just shooting around, and Tim got the ball and he shoved it in Garrett's chest. He said, "Come on, let's go one-on-one. Let's go one-on-one. Come on." And he was like, like playing good defense on him and everything. Like,
See, this is what I'm talking about when I tell people, I'm like, yes, I was so sure I wanted to marry Rachel once I met her family.
Yeah.
It's like, I hope you turn into even something close to this. This is so fun. This is so great.
So
just
fun.
always ready to play.
Yeah.
Always having fun.
Even at the end of the basketball tournament, Steve Coop had a all-star team or all-tournament team.
Oh, I forgot he did that, didn't he?
Yeah.
He announced an all-tournament team. That was pretty fun.
He picked his own son, but then again,
I think it was deserved.
Tim Curry.
I forgot about the all-tournament team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basketball was fun. Pickleball was fun. Although Isaac...
Oh, we got to talk about
that was crazy.
So yeah, two things happened at pickleball that were very memorable. One was John going boom into the.
Oh, another sound though. Maybe the third thing was memorable. Isaac's bung hole.
That's what I thought we were talking about.
Oh, I was talking about Isaac's
Oh,
yips.
yes, of course. Yeah, go ahead and talk about that.
So Isaac and I how we did the teams for pickleball was you each get to send 2 representatives to just like, let's get this over with kind of thing. Not everyone needs to play pickleball. So it was me and Isaac.
It did feel a little bit like, let's get this over with. Pickleball was like the least enthused out of everybody, I think, because everyone was so tired from
basketball and we're out in the sun. And we'd also just played a lot before we really started the competition. We were just screwing around for like an hour.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, let's do this. And so, yeah, me and Isaac were a team. We felt pretty good about our chances being together. And then something happened to Isaac physically. It like happens in sports sometimes.
Yeah.
And he just like, he couldn't get his body to do what he wanted to do. And it just was serving. We were doing just fine. We beat Scott and Harrison like 11-3.
Yeah.
And Isaac didn't get any of his serves in. So playing just fine otherwise. But imagine that. Pickleball is the easiest way to get your serve, and no one's blocking it, no one's defending it. You serve underhanded.
It's the same motion you would hit, like if you got a hit to you, and he would hit it right back.
Doubles pickleball. It's not even like an aggressive serve. Like you were just trying to get it in, just get it in this entire square,
huge rectangle,
and he just couldn't do it. And I felt bad for him because it's like I don't know what to tell you. He's trying different stuff. He just can't get a serve in.
Have you ever had something like that happen to you?
Yeah, the next day I got pretty humbled.
Oh,
the golf course. Remember that?
The golf one.
Yeah. I was like, this is... Yeah,
would you consider that? Yeah, like...
It's kind of similar.
Similar?
Yeah. Which... Because I even told Isaac, I was like, this is pretty humbling. You know, I'm your partner yesterday. And I'm thinking, how can this guy not get his body to do what he wants? And then, yeah, I got like the hosel shanks in golf where it's like, I feel like I can't do. When Isaac even said, he's like, well, serving in pickleball is a little easier than golfing. So you're off the hook there.
I wasn't sure how long that lasted for you at the golf course.
It was kind of wild. It was still a really fun round of golf, which we could talk about later. But yeah, it was a little bit of like, this has literally never happened to me. And it's happening on the most expensive round of golf of my life. So that's kind of a bummer.
I had something similar in junior high or high school. I can't remember. My dad hired like a pitching coach to like help me, like teach me how to, some mechanics and whatever. And all of a sudden I couldn't throw the ball more than like 3 feet. And like, I just couldn't release the ball. It would release right into the ground. And my dad, I remember at one point, like 10 throws in, my dad just looked at me. I can remember the soundbite in my head. He just goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm not doing it on purpose.
Come here, Tyler.
I have no idea. Yeah. Hey. And it was like, it was just this weirdest thing. Like it went from like, okay, let's take some pitches off the mound to like, okay, let's stand 5 feet away from each other and just work on the mechanics of throwing the ball. And it was, it's just like I don't know what's going on here. And of course, my dad had spent all this money on like this private coach for me.
It is kind of a bummer. Because I had said to you, I think I was like, I've never just showed up to a basketball court and not known how to dribble. And that's what it feels like. It was like, I couldn't make solid contact with the ball that day, but it was all good.
That was wild. We watched you during your drive balls. Dude, driving range balls.
First 5 balls in the range, perfect. I should have stopped right there. Yeah, I truly was hitting everything perfect. And then something happened with my body, which I think it might have just been like soreness or I don't know. Sure. I'm just going to take a break.
Fatigue,
But it doesn't matter. Still had a blast. But then the other thing Isaac did that day.
Yeah, this is what I remembered. Of course, I remembered the yips a little bit too, now that you said it. But so, I mean, the entire weekend, it's just the 16 of us just having a blast, feeling like we're in our own little world. And we had just played basketball and there was no one else around while we were playing. We were in a public park, obviously. And we literally just walked from the basketball court to the pickleball court. And it's just a full like amount of people at the pickleball court. Every court's being used. So there's a lot of people around. Isaac sits down, take a little rest and just lets out the biggest fart you could ever imagine. And like,
how did it sound?
I don't even remember exactly. It was just like, cause it was so like
thunderous,
but it wasn't like clappy. It was more like bellowing. It was just like, And it was one of those things where it's like people had been doing that throughout the weekend because we've been by ourselves in the house and like whatever. But I think Isaac just forgot like, oh yeah, there's 40 other people here. And I mean, people for like on both sides of the courts, like 2 or 3 courts down, were laughing. I mean,
it shook the block.
I think the entire pickleball, like all 8 courts could hear him.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was very far away and I was like, what was that?
And you could tell right away, Isaac was like realizing like, I didn't think anybody else was going to hear that. Like, and it was one of those things. Like I think I said at the end of the week, I was like, I don't think Isaac did anything really Isaac-y this weekend. And I was like, well, he did have about 6 nosebleeds and he farted really loud in public. But besides that, he was good.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a great time.
And then what did we do after that day?
I wrote down In-N-Out/Chipotle.
Okay, right on.
That was fun.
We did that. Was that when we went back to the pool and I started my little physics experiment? Was that that day?
Yes. So before that, real quick, while we were going to In-N-Out/Chipotle, it was me, Jake, Gunner, Garrett, Peter. Garrett and Peter were in the back of the van, and Garrett and Peter got really into the entire weekend betting on table tennis.
Yeah.
Sports betting on table tennis. Peter's already been into it, and he's teaching Garrett his ways, teaches of his
It was
degenerate
so funny
ways.
just listening to them because every person they're betting on is not American. They have
No.
the wildest names.
European, Asian.
But Peter like knows their tendencies. He's like, yeah, Christoph does that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's a slow starter. You're
You're
going
gonna
to
bet him now.
Smash
Bet
the money
Christoph.
line.
And they were just going back and forth with like this own little language that they had back there, and it was just hilarious. So I wrote that down. But yeah, and then after that we went swimming.
They were so funny together because I feel like they just egged each other on. I went to bed the last night, and they were like, they fell asleep on the couch together, gambling.
Yeah.
Like just like sports betting ping pong. Like
Because ping pong, it's 24 hours a day, I think, because it's in a different country.
they did say they're pretty mesmerized. Like they went to bed one night betting on a guy, and when they woke up and like I don't know, 7 hours later, he was
same
still
guy.
playing.
Yeah.
So like, how is this? What's going on?
It doesn't take much out of you, I guess, to play ping pong. I don't know.
But yeah, they were like giggling at like 2 a.m. just like betting on ping pong. That was like the last thing I heard going to sleep. It was awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, then we went swimming back at home, and Jake just kind of offhandedly was like,
I don't know where it came from.
have you seen those videos of those? Like they jump in the pool with the ball, and right when the ball gets submerged, they let go and it just flies up in the air. Have you seen these, Timon?
a couple people had.
Yeah, I had never seen one. Yeah, but a couple people, and I was like, I think you said like, let's try it.
All right, we got a basketball and a volleyball. And so it all happened very quick. So I was like, all right, throw me that ball.
Yeah.
And so I just jump in and I try to like, make a big splash, let go of the ball. And as I'm letting go, I'm like, I don't think I nailed this one.
Yeah.
And I come right up. The whole thing happened so quickly. And when I come up out of the water, the entire group is going gangbusters. They were like, oh! Garrett was like pointing in outer space. Oh, he's up there. Dude, we're close to an airport. What are you thinking? It was so funny.
Go.
Everybody look out.
Imagine my laugh that I do when it's like somebody's same birthday as me.
Yeah.
That's what I did for like 30 seconds straight. I was just like, and it was amazing. And I think you knew within the first second, like these guys are messing with me.
The main thing I was confused about was like, how do they have time to play on this?
It was-
All I did was just jump in the water.
I don't remember who. I think it was Gunner, maybe one of them, or Scott. I don't know. Somebody suggested like, let's just go nuts. And you come up, and yeah, we just. It was like, it couldn't have been faster. How quickly we were like,
so
boom,
funny. But then
turn
of
it
course,
on.
what happens next is then people hear all this hooping and hollering from inside. Luke comes outside. It's like, what's going on? And they're like, Jake, you gotta show him.
Yeah.
You gotta show him. Like, Luke, all right, you set your drink down. You're going to see this. And I do it again, and then he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
But then
right.
someone else would come outside. Jake, you gotta show Braden, dude. Oh, it was so funny. Never did get it to work.
Never did get it to work, but yeah, it was pretty. The videos look unbelievable for it. Timon, you should look up one of these. I don't know what you look up, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like CGI.
I think I've seen some.
It's usually a much bigger man doing it, but I still feel like
Yeah.
I could figure it out.
You at least get it somewhat up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was really fun.
Yep.
And then what did we do that night?
Then I wrote down lasagna dinner, solid dinner.
Oh yeah, I had the chicken Alfredo. Really
yeah.
good chicken.
Yeah, Steve did a great job with the food. I think the only hit or swing and a miss was he made about 150 wings, and people ate about 5 of them, maybe.
He did overestimate the wings.
Yeah, that was the only thing, because pizza was hitting though that first night.
It was fun hearing my dad talk about what he thought. Like he almost didn't heat the pool. He's like, I don't know if people will be in the pool. We were in the pool constantly.
Because it was heated, I think.
Yeah.
If it weren't heated, it would.
He also thought we would be on the pickleball court and basketball court all the time, which we weren't. It's probably like we're just tired.
Yeah,
Spent
and
all day in the
I
sun.
think the court, like Scott, I never even went over there because Scott was like, "That's a dangerous court. Don't play over there."
The rim on the basketball court was also really interesting. It was set at 8 feet, and if you cranked it up, the backboard would get this direction. It would be angled like upwardly.
Oh,
But if
really?
you cranked it down, it would be like a negative angle
A
towards you.
cute and obtuse angle.
So only at 8 feet was it like upright. And it was kind of slippery
interesting.
court, but still played a bunch of horse there the first day.
Yep. So yeah, lasagna / Alfredo dinner, nice time.
Yeah.
And that, fueled us up for some casino again.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing that night, that was the night where we got recognized. And also that was the night where, right when Tim got there.
We're like, hey Tim, we're over here.
So if you know Tim, like Tim he was the same age as Isaac, so he's one of the youngest guys on the trip, maybe the youngest. I don't know who's older, but a young kid, like just graduating college, had an amazing time with us and like was one of the guys for sure. But I don't know how many casinos he'd ever been to.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, like there's a casino, like at the casino, there's all these tables like that you play blackjack and all these things at, and then the dealers go in the middle of like, so it's like this big circle basically of tables. And normally there's like a rope that kind of ropes that off so you can't go into the middle. And Tim sees us. He's like, hey guys, what's going on? And he just walks right by, like right basically next to the dealers and the pit boss. Like it seemed like he was trying to steal all the money.
Yeah, it's very much a spot you do not go.
No.
You are not allowed back there.
No.
And Tim is just back there just hanging out. We're like, Tim.
But Tim is so fast and so like shifty that he was
Tim
in and
Curry.
out within 3 seconds. Yeah.
And we couldn't even find him. Like, I think he just bailed. He's like, I'm just going to
He's
go
like, I gotta get out
take a
of here.
lap for a second.
Oh, it was the funniest thing. It'd be like somebody just, walking into a baseball stadium, walking all the way down the rows,
Just being on third base.
and then stop. Continuing to walk over the railing and just like stand right next to the third baseman. Let's go Royals! Here we go.
Like, Tim's texting, like, hey, where are you guys at the concert? Like, oh, we're on the other side of the stage. Okay, I'll just walk through.
Okay.
He's just on stage with Post Malone
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
second.
yeah.
Like, sorry, it's just the quickest way through.
I'm hanging out with the drummer over here.
No, sorry, I'm just going to my friends. Just walking through the stage.
But the quickness in his correction was just unbelievable.
It's a good V cut. Yeah.
That was one of the hardest. Like,
We were giggling pretty
I'll
good.
laugh. I'll continue to laugh at that one in my head for a long time.
We were just laughing the whole time, I feel like. You just have 16 guys who are funny and have good attitudes. Like,
Yeah.
something's got to be funny constantly.
And then I did write down at the end of Saturday, we did Garrett, Peter, and I get some late night snacks at Whataburger.
Yeah, that's
and I
fun.
learned that Peter's late night snack was literally he got another meal at Whataburger. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a honey butter chicken biscuit, maybe a milkshake, and Peter's like, okay, I'll take a number one no drink chocolate milkshake. I was like, okay.
Which I got to hang out with Peter on the very last day, and he unfortunately was feeling it. He was really, really sick. And we're like, dang it. Is it normally like this? He's like, it hasn't felt this bad in years. And I was like, well,
Really?
how come? And he's like, well, I've had a milkshake 3 last 4 days.
And he's lactose intolerant.
Yeah. I was like, dude, that's probably it. And then Scott, which, on one end it was funny. On the other end, I'm like, dude, Peter's pretty sick. So it's probably not helping. He just kept calling him Milkshake. All right, Milkshake, you're up. Which I actually loved the nickname Milkshake. And I'm like, I'm sure it's the last thing Peter
So
wants to
Peter was
think
still hanging out with you guys at the golf course and everything. He was just feeling bad.
He was feeling really sick. He actually didn't even play the back nine. He just went and took a nap in the truck. So I felt bad
man.
for him. But yeah, old Milkshake just got after it.
I mean, we all ate. I don't think I ate a vegetable all weekend.
Yeah, I did kind of let the sugar go a little bit more than
Yeah.
normal, but not as bad as it could have been.
Not
I
as
didn't
bad.
eat any cookies,
Good for you.
and they were there.
I ate all of your share of cookies. I think.
Thank you. So then the next day was when we had optional golf,
Yes.
and this was so fun. I mean, this made the trip.
And explain this golf course versus the golf course 2 days earlier.
So this one is the most expensive golf I've ever played.
Yeah.
And understandably, like some of the guys who don't golf, didn't bring their own clubs, don't want to spend the money
Hand up. Yeah.
on doing this. But I think you, Garrett, someone had the idea is like, well, could we just like ride around with you guys? I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, like normally it's like a little bit of a fee, which is a little steeper at this course.
Yeah, I was told $20 and it was $50.
Yeah.
But hey,
Kansas City Public Courses is about $20.
they gave us a nicer cart than everybody. You see that? It was like
That's what
like
I
more
heard.
cushion.
You got like
yeah, it was like the Cadillac of carts.
So that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And so Gunner was just like vibe guy all day, just like bebopping. But we still had 3 tee times, so he would just go back and forth through everyone, just hanging out and just dancing and being goofy, and he was great. Meanwhile, Brad and Garrett developed something to keep themselves busy. I'm just going to let you talk all about it.
Sure.
I'll just say, in hindsight, my dad said this is the most fun round of golf he's ever played.
Yeah.
And it was all because of you and Garrett.
Oh, it was a blast. So basically, I mean, whatever. Like
We've been going to the casino.
Just
We've
know
been-
we don't gamble every single day of our lives
Yeah.
all the time. Okay.
And even when we do, it's like, I mean, I think the first 2 days collectively, I lost $40. And I was like, I don't know if I can go back.
I don't know if I'm going to financially recover from this, Yeah, but Garrett and I were like, hey, like, what if we make it more like literally like you heard the term, like, you want to make this a little more interesting? like that's what we did. We made things more interesting by basically we were the house and we just set up a gambling system.
They ran their own sports book.
It was a wonderful. And so
up to the second.
So basically what we did was we would just drive around and we would see what kind of shot they had. And, Garrett and I know nothing about golf, but we tried to give like odds. And so we'd say like, okay, if you make this shot, we'll give you 10 to 1 odds, which means, you bet $1, you get $10. And then eventually it got more and more complicated. But at first it was like just very, very simple. And at first I will say that I based it off of my skill rather than the skills of everyone that I was giving the bets to. And so I think the first thing I gave was 30 to 1 odds on this putt that was like in the fringe, I think is what they call it, which is like not quite on the green, but it was like 12 feet. Like it was like a very short fringe putt. And I think I gave them 15 to 1 on that, and they sunk it easily. And we didn't have a putt like that all day
like,
2 days ago. And so genuinely, Garrett and I were like, we might have to stop this after like 3 or 4 holes because we're already down like $50.
Because then a couple holes later, he met up with us, and I was like, all right, let's do a bet. We were like 105 yards out. I was like, all right, what are the odds that 2 out of 3 of us landed on the green?
Oh, yeah.
And I forgot what the odds were. Either way.
That was 7 to 1.
7 to 1.
Yep.
And I bet $5, I think. And of course, I missed the green, but my 2 partners, Tommy and Harrison, both hit the green. So I made $35 off of my friends.
And so Garrett and I have this collaborative note on our phones. And so we're like marking down how much everyone's betting and then like how much everyone either owes us or we owe them. And we just got more and more complicated with it. We were like, all right, team odds are, 5 to 1, individual odds 10 to 1 on this putt. And at first people were very stingy with it. I think you were the most,
let's have some fun.
You were the loosest with it. And I think you were the most fun at first, but then once it got into it, like people got a lot more into it. I think eventually, so at first I think we were down like $85.
Yeah.
And to the point where we're like, we're never going to financially recover from this. And we were like scheming. We're like, how do we get this back? Because I was like, even if we win bets, we're winning $1 at a time. We can't do 80 bets because we're not seeing you guys do every single shot. And so, we were just like, we got to get more creative with these things. We got to figure out these odds and all this stuff. And you had the idea of doing this one called Up and Down, which I'd never heard of that before.
Because I was trying to help you guys too. I was like, golfers are very eager to probably overestimate their abilities.
Yeah.
So you got to make them think like, surely you guys will get up and down from here, right?
Right.
I'll give you 1 to 4 odds that you don't do it.
And yeah. And so finally there was like, was it a 2-putt or up and down or something?
Yeah.
This was the thing that really, like, Jake was the big winner so far on the day. This was the 9th hole. And I think we had kind of like figured it out for most people. They either owed us money or we were like pretty close with them. But Jake, I think, was still up like $50 or something like that. And I was like, okay, 1 to 25 odds, which means Jake has to bet $25 to win 1. That he would make this really like, not easy, but like pretty easy thing in 2 shots. And
I was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so he gets a really easy, like not really easy, but very sinkable putt from how far do you think it was? 5 feet?
Yeah, well, we had to get up and down. So it was like a chip first.
But the chip was great. The chip was a really good chip.
Pretty close. We all missed it.
And then, the putt. Yeah. All 3 of them missed it. And Garrett and I were like, we're in business, baby.
I got to a different hole and other people had heard you screaming. They're like, what was Brad yelling about?
I was
like,
so pumped.
I just gave him $50 back.
Because
it shifted the tide.
Because you missed, Harrison missed, and then Tommy gets up there. And if you know Tommy's personality, he's way, way even keeled, like classic, like farmer agriculture, like just a responsible guy. And I was like, he's not going to get phased. And so like, I almost leaned into that. I was like, if there's one person you want up there that's not going to be intimidated, not going to be nervous about this, it's Tom Coop. This guy's not phased by anything. He's going to sink this, no doubt. And he hits it, and it just lips out, and I just freak out. I was like, let's go, Garrett. We just run back to the cart.
Sprinted back to the cart.
Yeah, we kept using the term, we're chasing putts and we're chasing shade. That's all we want to chase. Let's go chase some putts.
It was really fun. And
it was a blast. I kept giving your dad 75 to 1 odds on stuff. And he's like, I'm going to take 75 to 1 odds on anything every time.
It was just so fun. You guys at one point texted the group, like, new prop bet just dropped, 500 to 1 odds.
Anybody gets a hole in one. Yeah, and Peter put $5 down, and I thought to myself,
like, crap.
Like Garrett was like, dude, you didn't put a maximum bet on that? And I was like, come on. Like, he's not going to make a hole in one. And we were like talking about, like, can you imagine if I have to call Catherine and be like,
hey, the food got expensive.
FYI, I owe Peter $1,250. Luckily, no one made it. And we had some really close calls at the end.
It just got electric, and
It was awesome.
I was in the very last group. And so they're all like circling the green. They're all waiting on us to finish. And I know they're making bets about us, but I don't know what they are.
These guys were getting kind of frustrated at Garrett and I near the end because we won all this money on them.
Yeah. And anyway, it's a par 5. I'm like really far away from it. And I just kind of swing away. We're not going to win at this point. And somehow this 3-wood goes really far and really straight. And I can't really see. But all I hear is just all this like hooping and hollering, and I don't know who's bet what, but I'm like, did I just make it from like 260 yards? And come to find out, Peter had placed a bet on me where he like either would have like had to give away 60 or won 600.
No, I think it was 10-1, and he bet $10. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So it was $100 versus $10. Yeah.
And my ball landed like 6 inches short of what it needed to.
I mean, it could not have been much closer than that.
So it was just fun. Just every shot, like golf is already fun, and you're already like feeling the pressure. And then when it's like, hey, Brad gave me 50-1 odds and I chip this in. Like, come on, let's chip this in.
And Peter like was just desperate. Like, so he's like 10-1 odds, please, come on. And I was like, sure. And literally like 1 second later, you swung. Like it was not like we didn't think
All
about it.
bets are closed?
Yeah, yeah. And then you just smacked that thing, and it looked so good, dude. I was like, he's gonna make that in the hole.
It was just fun. I think any guy, even if you don't golf, I think guys would be like, dang, that sounds fun. Just up to the minute, like,
Yeah.
Hey, I'll bet you 2-1 you don't make this free throw.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you just did that for 4 hours, it would be fun.
Right. It was a blast.
Because we were talking about that all during lunch afterwards. Like, should this be a YouTube video? Should we do this for like a charity tournament? Like,
Yeah.
you just have these guys, they're all in orange t-shirts. It's guys like Garrett and Brad. They just drive around just making bets. And
that
I
was
think
a
it's
fun-
technically illegal, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, like Scott's like, they should do this on a real golf course. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's illegal. But that was the other fun part about it. It was that like I turned into a salesman halfway through. Like at first I was kind of like sheepish about it. Like, I don't know, maybe like 10, 15-1. And then I'd be like, okay, 10-1 on this. And Tim would be like, okay, I'll do $1. I was like, why not 2?
Minimum bet's 2, actually.
Minimum's 2, actually. He's like 2. I was like, why not just go 5? Are you confident you're going to make it? You know, like just really tried to push it. And then, of course, you know, some people would be like, okay, 5. Yeah, let's do 5. It got more and more participatory the longer it went. So
it's just fun. You guys just made it very memorable. And
thanks, man. It was a great time with Garrett, too.
it was great. I've like the main feedback I got from people, because I will say the thing when people ask me like, what was your favorite part of the trip? I think 2 things. One, it was just watching people interact.
Yes.
Just watching
It's an all-star team. Remember?
my future father-in-law play one-on-one with Garrett Gibson. Like, I never would have
That's what I'm
thought
saying.
that would happen.
Remember the analogy I said a couple weeks ago was like, I've never seen Steph Curry lob it up to Anthony Davis before, you know?
It was just fun watching the groups, watching Braden tell all of my best friends'
Right.
stories,
Oh, yeah.
watching Luke play backgammon against Paul Shira. I was
Right.
like, this is just so fun.
Right.
You know, it's me and my uncle and, you know, Harrison.
Yeah.
This is so fun. Just
Yeah.
the amount of groups that were hanging out were so fun. And people love to come to me and just tell me how they were feeling. And I think the main piece of feedback I got were, we got to get Garrett Gibson to move closer to us.
Yes.
Everyone loved Garrett.
Yeah.
Because he's like
amazing.
more of my friend, but he's not necessarily in our friend group as much as all the people who live over here on the Kansas side are. Everyone loved Garrett, and everyone loved Uncle John.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
loved Coach.
Oh, yeah.
And he really was. I mean, he was just the man. He he told us the story of when he went to a Taylor Swift concert by himself.
Yep.
That was electric.
Yeah.
Like, truly, just like no one forced him to. It wasn't like anyone bailed on him. He bought a ticket, drove 3 hours to Kansas City, went by himself, and drove back.
Because he said he was a fan of her country stuff. You know? And this was like the Are You Ready For It tour.
He's like, she didn't play any of it.
10 years later. And he said he like pretended to like have a daughter there with him. Like,
Hey, sweetie.
Brittany. Yeah, Brittany's up there.
I hate this. I hate this. I do it. Dad of the year. I'm here for her.
I can't believe that he actually did. Yeah, went there by himself. Oh, he was. Yeah, just. I think what makes him so enjoyable and funny is that he laughs at himself. Not
Yes.
in like a. Like, I think I'm so hilarious that I'm just laughing all the time, but just like, this is a funny story. I'm recounting it with everybody. And so he's just dying laughing as he's telling it. And I think it's like a laugh track or something where it's like, the more he laughs, the more you realize like, this is funny.
Yeah.
And then everyone's laughing alongside of him.
I told Rachel that. I was like, because I've always thought her dad reminded me of my uncle anyway. And I was like, they're both so great at like their humility and just like being willing to admit that they deserve to be the butt of the joke.
Right.
Like even Steve Coop playing blackjack, he goes to the bathroom, comes back like, I was thinking about it. I don't know why I split tins. No wonder you guys are making fun of me. That's dumb. And we're all like laughing like, yes, it is dumb.
Exactly.
They're all just easygoing and lovable. But another thing that Uncle John told us about, I think my dad even kind of introduced it. He's like, John, tell him about Bag of Money. And John's like, oh, yeah. He like sits up in his seat. He's like, all right, I got this idea. So you guys have seen the shows, Ozark, Breaking Bad. We live in the Ozarks. There's a lot going on, a lot of drug deals going down at any given time. People might be scared the cops are on them. They're throwing their drug money out. Maybe people are doing drug deals. They're like leaving it in like a drop and, for someone else to find it. What I want to do is get a crew of guys and drive around and try to find these bags of money. And we're like, that's it? He's like, yeah. I mean, there's got to be bags of money all over. I think we could find bags of money. And so we're all just making fun of him. And, he's laughing too. The very next day, Steve Coop doesn't want to, I think that was the day we all golfed. He stays home. Steve Coop decides to go on a walk around Scottsdale. We get back to the house, and he had found a bag of money the very next day.
At like what he thought was maybe a drug.
It was kind of a sketchy house.
He's like, there was a bunch of hippie stuff around.
It was unbelievable. Like, no way you found a bag of money.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, we get a text in the group chat. It's the day we're all going home. They had a delay at the airport, so there were a couple extra hours. And Tommy with Steve had found money in the airport. And he's like, keep your eyes peeled, John.
$100 too.
Yeah. Which I was funny too, because someone replied, maybe it was you, replied like, who's John? Oh, you mean Coach?
Oh, Coach. That's right. Yes.
Oh, my coach. So bag of money.
Love you, Coach.
Anyone could take that idea. Try to find your own bag of money, but it was unbelievable. Just the very next day that Steve Coop found a bag of money in Scottsdale, Arizona.
And just knowing Steve, it's just hilarious that he's just walking around by himself.
I told Rachel that story. She's like, of course.
Yeah.
Of course he was just walking around.
He's like, I just wanted to go see some really nice houses, so I drove down there and was looking at houses, and then I figured I'd walk around for a couple miles.
He also was the biggest fan. In our backyard, we had a grapefruit tree and an orange tree. And I think everyone thought it was cool, but Steve Coop, the farmer, was just like, every morning he'd pick some and have them on the counter for us. He brought some home to Angie, I think.
Oh, really?
He was fired up on grapefruit.
He was, multiple times I heard him say, like, I can't imagine. Like, it'd be so wonderful living here. Like, he couldn't get over the weather of Arizona.
Yeah.
So it was just so temperate. It was so nice.
Gosh.
So,
it was just such a good weekend. I texted everyone. I was like, I will be telling people about this weekend for the rest of my life.
oh, yeah.
It was so fun.
My only thing, last thing I put was that we played blackjack the last night.
I was going to say.
But we didn't go to the casino to play.
My other favorite thing, in addition to watching everyone, was just everything the last night.
Yeah.
It was my favorite part of it. I mean,
everything, like the
just watching basketball in the movie room.
Yeah.
Because Uncle John was just hilarious.
There were just little things.
Funny things happening.
He said he called it in the YouTubes at one point. Like, I've seen a few YouTubes.
Yeah. Just unintentionally being funny.
Yeah.
And then I thought I could get my Uncle John to do it, but eventually Brad was the one.
Like, I'll pony up.
To do it. And what it was we're all going to play blackjack at the house, but Brad is the casino and Brad is the house. And oh my gosh.
Boy, was it fun. First of all, you could tell like everyone was out for some blood from Brad because Brad won from them earlier in the day from golf. And second of all, I was just super goofy with it. I was trying.
Brad was so funny. Show him how you would deal.
Yeah,
Brad kind of developed a persona as a blackjack dealer.
So basically, I don't even know what you would consider this for people listening audio wise. But basically, I just kind of rocked. First of all, I kind of like it was like I was in like an inner tube. I was kind of just like before I had the cards in my hand.
All right, everybody bet, please.
All right, all bets are in, and I started going like this.
He's riding a pony or something. He was kind of developing.
And I always had like kind of a serious face.
Hey, dude, I loved it, but I know who loved it more was Tim. Tim was like...
Tim liked it?
Oh, yeah. He was.
See, that's the thing is like half the people didn't even comment on it. Like,
I was loving it.
I don't know if your dad really thought anything of it, but I was just... Yeah, it was just so goofy.
Oh, yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah, they took some money from me.
Yeah, because... statistically, the house I think wins in blackjack 51% of the time, give or take. It's why so many people play blackjack. It's the best odds you're going to get in a casino, but the house should still win. Brad should still win.
Yeah,
and but yeah, he wasn't for a while, and it was so fun. It was so fun because it's one thing if like, hey, we all won, but it's something about like we took from Brad. Brad busted.
Yeah,
this is so
the
fun.
The roar. I mean, just like whoa!
Every time Brad busted, we would just go nuts. And Yeah, it was just funny too, because there were a couple people who didn't know blackjack super well, so they do something like you wouldn't
Tim,
really advise.
Steve.
And you're like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. But then somehow it would work out and Brad would bust. They're like, that's why you split pins. That's why you do it.
Oh, it was a blast.
It was so funny. It was really hard for you to reach to Steve's cards. So what you started doing is every time he would hit, you would just take his money in the process. Just like, thank you.
Yep. I'd be like, okay, 14, 24 too many. I did. I started getting a little system down where to discard things, where to put everything.
Yeah, you were a really good dealer.
It was a blast.
It was so fun. That was another thing too. Just people were like, I can't believe how funny Brad is. I feel like Steve Coop especially was like, your dad and uncle, because they all shared a bunk together, that room together. And he said they would just lay in bed all night. They were like middle school boys. They were just giggling and laughing. And I think that he just loved watching them interact.
Yeah, there was one night, second or third night there, where I was going to bed. I thought I was like one of the last people to go to bed, and they were talking like loud. It wasn't like they were like whispering. Like it was all four of them were still awake.
It's so funny to imagine them on bunk beds just chatting in the middle of the night, completely dark.
So great, man. So great.
There was one time too that Steve Coop said he let out, like he'd been waiting and just let out the nastiest fart of all weekend because the two people in the room were already asleep and Uncle John wasn't in there yet. And he said 2 seconds later, John walked in, and hearing John tell it from his perspective, he was like, I walked in and something just brought me to my knees. Turns out it was Steve Coop.
Oh man. Yeah. Turns out, when you don't sleep very much and you eat just garbage for a lot of time, you have some gas. And it was great. So
it was so funny. Last thing I could think of to mention is the hardest I've ever seen Gunner laugh. Yes. Is at one point we were in the pool, and I think John had been napping or something. And, I think he's the oldest guy there. He's incredibly sore from all the sports we're putting him through. And so he's kind of like waddling out to the pool already, like walking weird.
He's got a little bit of a gut, so he kind of sticks it out as he walks anyway.
Then he's got these big black sunglasses on that look darker than normal. And then he's holding his shoes in a really weird way, like bringing his shoes to the pool for some reason.
Yeah.
And he's walking really, it looks like a T-Rex or an upright alligator or something. And he's walking. And all I do is I just make the comment, him with his glasses. I was like, it looks like he's blind. And that's all I say. And then the subsequent actions of my uncle just really reinforce that he might be blind.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Gunner laugh. Gunner was in tears.
Oh my gosh.
He was like squealing laughing. I've never seen him laugh.
I've never heard him laugh like that. I've never. He looked like he was like, he didn't have any of the costume for it, but he looked like 3 blind mice. Like that's what he looked like as he's walking around. He kind of sits down, and then, since he's sore, he's kind of like awkwardly sits down. Okay, all right. What's everyone up to?
Who is all here?
I had no idea what's going on here. Backgammon, nice.
Okay. It sounded like dice.
You guys doing the ball trick? Let me know if it goes high.
Whoa, it sounded like a big splash.
Oh, Brad must be jumping in. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, Gunner just died laughing.
I texted him like an hour ago. I just said, remember when Coach looked blind? And he just goes, bro, that killed me. Hardest I've laughed in a while. So
good.
It was
so
just
many
the
fun
best
times.
weekend ever. My dad did such a great job planning it all, getting everyone to come. I told every person individually, just like, thank you so much for coming. It's just, I couldn't believe it. So many people gave up time off from work, time from their wives or their kids, even just the money it takes to like do a vacation like this. It was just, I felt so celebrated. But at the same time, it was like, I liked that it was never really about me. It was like, we're all just hanging out and just doing the things we would do anyway.
Totally. And just imagine how much more it's going to be like at your wedding. Like how much more fun that's going to be.
We got to find a way to do something like that often. It was so fun.
Yeah. How about Isaac just becomes like, these are only people that Isaac can be friends with now. So that way when Isaac gets married, the same thing
we get to do it again.
Yeah. Braden has to come. Like everyone. Tim and Steve, whatever.
Paul Shira's coming.
Yeah, I wish I didn't do this publicly. I wish I could have there was never a time near the end where we were all together. I think Harrison left a little early, Braden left, and I was like, oh man, I wish we could have all been together. And I wish I could have recognized not only you, obviously, but Steve. I wanted to be like, let's give a shout out to Steve real quick. So Steve, this is my public thank you for doing such a good job and working so hard doing it, man. Cause it was, I think obviously you felt very loved and we all had so much fun doing it. It was just such a blast. And we did so little and your dad did so much. So it was a blast, dude. So much fun.
It was awesome. Everyone just so great.
So great.
I feel like all the old guys too just couldn't believe the friend group. They would always tell me that too. Like, you have such a great group of friends. Like each one of them told me that individually. And I was like, right? I'm so glad you could hang out with them. They're awesome.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
That's what Steve Coop was talking to your mother-in-law, future mother-in-law, Angie, on the phone. And he's like, yeah, I think Jake's got some pretty good friends. I think he'll be okay for Rachel. So,
good deal.
Yep.
That's fun. Anything else we need to talk about or just...
I think that's about it,
The whole
brother.
episode, just the batch party?
I think that's plenty, man. I think we'll have plenty to talk about in the future. I don't know. I'm trying to look at anything else in my notes, but I don't think I see too much. I mean, yeah, we've talked about it and it was amazing, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the future.
Only thing I wrote down in my notes was bag of money. And we talked about it, so we're good.
That was the only thing you had written down?
Bag of money.
Oh, wow. I wrote down, I tried to be chronological with it just in case I forgot something.
That's wise.
Thank you. Late night snacks. Hey, everyone go get a snack.
Go get a little snack tonight.
Yeah.
Should we do our reviews of the week?
Yep.
Okay. I got one from Olivia M33. Hey, Jacob Brad.
Hey.
Fellow former sheltered kid here. I found your podcast through Trey Kennedy's podcast, and now find myself listening to Ghostrunners every day while I'm getting ready for work and while I'm cooking dinner every night after work. I was listening while getting ready one morning and starting laughing so hard that I accidentally sprayed hairspray straight into my ear canal.
No way. The movie?
I guess, while trying to spray my hair. Worth it. I work in a private golf community, bragger. So whenever you talk about golf, I feel like I'm starting to learn more about the sport, but I still can't decide if I like it or hate it yet. More of a putt-putt girl myself. Mm-hmm. Many of the stories you guys tell instantly make my day better, and you've taught me to be more optimistic and joyful view of life and circumstances. You've taught me that it's so easy and important to be able to laugh at myself and not take life too seriously all the time. Thank you. I wish you all the best and hope you continue to produce such great wholesome content through my speakers. Olivia M33, you are welcome, and we will continue
All right.
to produce wholesome content for you through your speakers.
Thanks, Olivia. Mine's a 5-star review. I got you another listener as the title. And I'm just going to say the username once and not going to look back. It's Big Boy Luke Wath the Long Hour. I used to always listen to the pod when I was driving by myself or working by myself. I have my own business at Lucas_detailing. Sweet. And I'm constantly inspired by you guys. But today I finally made my girlfriend listen to it with me, and she was laughing before you even rolled the music. She loved it, and we plan to listen together every Monday and Wednesday. Thanks for the positivity. Keep it up.
You're
Thanks,
welcome,
Lucas.
Big Boy Luke.
Cool.
Oh, I thought you were like counting in like a...
No. That needs to be, honestly, can we just end it one more time? We're not going to do it again, but let's just play that one more time for the ending jingle.
In the episode
because
with that?
I don't think you guys understand how awesome that was live.
Yeah. Just the actual song or like what we did earlier, play that again.
Both.
Okay.
I think play it one more time with us. Just so you guys remember how fun that was. Then
YouTube version gets us.
Yes.
Spotify gets the real version.
Perfect.
Bang, bang, bang. See you gues on Wednesday.
All right. Love you guys. See bop, we do.
Wow.
All together. That was perfect. That was great, guys.
Thanks, Rachel, for the pots and pans noise.